Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 20 of Belonging. I think I'm not going to be reading today. I wanted to talk a little bit out loud, and I also was hoping to uh, do something a little bit different. I think I'll put at the end of this video, at the end of me talking, I'm going to add in a different section of me talking, but it's slightly different. It's sort of a review, or a maybe not a review exactly, but a talk about a movie that I am nostalgic for from my childhood, and it's going to be different. It's going to be a scripted thing that I actually recorded separately, and then I'll just overlay it onto this video. I know that's kind of we're getting into the point where that's a bit far from the original intent of this series, but fuck it, I wanted to, so I'm doing that. But for now, I wanted to talk about specifically one line. Oh, I can change the direction of this chair. I don't actually like that I changed the direction of the chair. I hope it resets. I like look, as you can tell, it's glitched. Oh fuck! What if it's stuck like that forever? Oh, I know, I'll just fix it in post. Well, so I was thinking about a specific line in Zarathustra, a line about something along the lines of, in the respect to a man, I think it was in the chapter The Pale Robber or something along those lines, how Zarathustra says that the reason he does the crazy, insane things that he does is because him and many men are really a collection of snakes within a human body, and all these separate snakes have different wants and goals, or at least that's how the lion ended up laying into my head. And I really like that line, and I've thought about it. And then at the same time as that, I was, well, not the same time, but a little while later, I was reading some of the comics of a series called Over the Garden Wall that was originally a Cartoon Network cartoon series, and they made extra comics. And I was reading in the first special issue, or whatever it is, there's a character that is spoilers sort of for this issue, but it's not a big thing because they're all mini stories. So it's only spoiling like 3 pages of content or something, but it is kind of cool. Was there is this Faustian character, a scarecrow, that is sort of the devil giving choices and granting wishes in exchange for souls, that kind of character. And it's revealed that that scarecrow character is really a collection of snakes that are made up of the fallen souls from before, and that is where the evil comes from, is all these mingling of these snakes. And it came just after really reading that line in Zarathustra. So I was really I really thought that was interesting, that a metaphor that I had just heard, I immediately was seeing it again. And originally I thought the term for when you hear about something and then you see it everywhere, I thought that term was called serendipity. And I was going to do an episode talking a little bit about that concept. And it's a good thing that I looked into that to make sure I was actually right, and because I was wrong. Serendipity apparently actually means it's very similar to just using the word luck. I guess the only difference is that serendipity refers to luck that is specifically unexpected. So when you get lucky about something and you really had no idea that you even could get lucky about that thing, and you weren't expecting something lucky to happen at all. And so that is not the word I was looking for. And then I came across let's see, the Bader-Meinhof principle or idea or concept, Bader-Meinhof. And that is this idea of sort of a cognitive bias that happens wherein you learn about something for the first time, and then once you've learned about that thing, you are more primed to notice it in the future. Because before you learned about it, your brain just sort of skimmed over anytime you saw it because you didn't know what you were looking at, and you weren't primed to see that thing. And now that you did learn about it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. And to a lot of people, that seems almost like magic. And another separate word, I suppose, is the word synchronicity, which, looking that one up in this pursuit of trying to figure out what word best met the definition of what I was going through so that I could talk about it, synchronicity almost seems like if the Bader-Meinhof effect was a way of trying to create a logical explanation, then the word synchronicity is the opposite, and that it's trying to just be a spiritual. I hesitate to use the word explanation because it's not. It's more just saying, look, things happen, and then right after they happen, you notice they happen again. Must be a wizard who did it or something. There's not really an explanation. It's just sort of like, this is proof of magic, synchronicity. So that is not what I was looking for. And the reason Bader-Meinhof was not what I was looking for was because it it was only Bader-Meinhof sort of implies that I learned something that I that I could have learned about previously, the way I understand it. And when it came to this metaphor, I don't feel like there really was an opportunity to hear this metaphor before. I suppose I could be wrong, but I believe that if I had heard this metaphor before, I would have had the same reaction to it that I just did now. But I don't think I did, and therefore it almost seems like more of the word I'm just looking for is simply coincidence. And that is the only word that I can find, I suppose. This sounded a lot more interesting of a conversation in my head to have. And I realize now that it was just my just scrounging around to find a specific word. And then the word that I ended up with was a boring word everyone knows anyway. Yeah, kind of lame. Well, on to the review thingy that I planned. Enjoy. Here you go. I want to talk about the 1997 movie from my childhood, Pooh's Grand Adventure. As a kid, I loved Winnie the Pooh, and I had hand-me-downs of Pooh VHS tapes from my cousin. There's a significant amount of quality difference between all the different Pooh content, some being just to have, colors on a screen to entertain toddlers, and other stuff being enjoyable to both children and adults, and everything you can imagine in between. Pooh's Grand Adventure was a standout to me as a kid because it was so dark. It's an adventure movie to find Christopher Robin, who the other characters believe is lost somewhere terrifying. But even most dumb kids, I think, would immediately see Christopher Robin didn't go to Skull. He just went to school, and the other characters can't read. If this annoyed you when watching, you were in for a bad time, as the whole movie is just Pooh and friends getting into danger because of that mistake. But to me, the movie's not really about Christopher. It's about how Pooh and the others deal with Christopher being gone. Before he left, Christopher Robin desperately tried to reach out to Pooh to explain and to help Pooh deal with him leaving. Pooh is unreceptive to hear any negative news, telling Christopher Robin it can wait.
It can? For how long?
Forever and ever.
This is followed by a song where Pooh sings about being with Christopher Robin forever, while Christopher Robin gently tries to tell Pooh that things may not always be the same. When this doesn't get through to Pooh, Christopher Robin changes tactics and tries to prepare Pooh for the inevitable through positivity instead. He gives Pooh encouragement that no matter what happens, Pooh can get through it. After that night, Christopher Robin is gone. Much later in the film, there's a mirroring song in which Pooh is alone. and we see just how much losing Christopher Robin is affecting him.
I used to believe in forever, but forever's too good to be true.
He sings about happily dreaming of Christopher Robin before being rudely awakened back to a reality where Christopher Robin is not actually there. It looks like Pooh isn't just worried about Christopher Robin. He is intensely grieving the loss of a person he used to take for granted as always being there. This all seems to me to be more like how a person reacts to death than it does a child searching for a friend, and I'm not the only one who has that feeling. On any of the YouTube uploads of this song, you can find plenty of heartfelt comments from people describing how this song felt emotionally relatable to their own experience of loss of family and friends. I even seem to remember reading something on the internet a while back that would back up the idea that this story is based on dealing with death. The rumor was something along the lines that a person heavily involved in the story of this movie experienced the death of their child at about the same time, and so in writing the story of the movie, they expressed the trauma they were going through. I can't find any evidence for this, or even any passing messages of this rumor anymore, so for all I know, I could have dreamed it up. Nevertheless, this rumor feels believable to me, at least emotionally, even if it's probably not actually true. Taking this one step further, this story shows the first loss of someone whose innocence and refusal to consider negative possibilities leads to that much harder of a fall. The intensity of these emotional ideas, coupled with the brooding and sometimes frightening imagery, made this an unforgettable experience to me, even if I may not have consciously grasped why as a child. I was really emotionally invested in these characters. But then Christopher Robin is just back again, and if you manage to forget, he was never in any danger. Every frightening part of the adventure is then shown to have only been an illusion or something.
Nothing can go wrong if everything is right, and everything is right somehow.
Even as a kid, this rubbed me the wrong way, though I couldn't have explained why if asked. Now, though, I think I might finally have an idea as to why. The whole movie feels discordant with its themes when I look back. What felt most real was the idea of this intense loss. But obviously, they can't make a Winnie the Pooh story that dark, so Christopher Robin has to be fine in the end. For a lot of people, that fact is so obvious that they just can't get invested in the emotional plight of the characters at all, so the movie is just boring to them. But to someone like me, who was able to put that aside when I watched, everything felt real, and I was able to enjoy it. That is, until it's thrown in my face that there were no stakes at all, and nobody really needed to learn any lesson anyway. It feels a bit pointless in the end, at least to me. Like everything has been undone, and I was stupid to expect anything else. After it's over, all I can say is that I just feel a little shitty. And yet, I still think this movie is worth a watch. It has really interesting visuals and haunting ideas. You should definitely see it, if only for the novelty of a strangely dark Winnie the Pooh story. That's it for now.